Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. Good morning. It's good to see you. Good to be seen by you. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson, your host. Welcome in. To those of you joining us on Facebook Live, it's good to have you. And if you're interested in joining us on Facebook Live, you've got your laptop nearby, you're settling into your coffee, you go right ahead and dial up Facebook and search for KHTS Radio and click on the banner there. There I am. Good to see you. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. While our campuses are closed, you know, our students are at home and they're working with you, not with us, although we are here to support you. KHTS, in collaboration with SCVi and Lyrid Schools, brings you this special edition of Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. We're here to support the work that you're doing with your kids, to be there for you and to work with your kids as you are developing this distance learning thing, maintaining that growth and learning. We're also here to help you take care of you, because you can't take care of your kids until you are well taken care of. We come to you live each day at 9 a.m., providing support and updates for you on this distance learning journey. And we are continually curating and adding new resources for you on our website. Go to homeschoolinganswers.com. Check out those resources that we've got for you. We have curated all different kinds of resources. You know, folks are posting all over social media with different kinds of things that are going on for our students as they're home and working on different things there, whether it's science or reading or art. There's just all kinds of things out there. Well, what we're doing is we're weeding through things and sorting out the good from the bad, the things that are expensive versus the things that are the best price of all, free. And we're posting those resources for you on homeschoolinganswers.com. You can go in and click on your children's grade level, or you can click on a specific subject. We've got parenting tips. We've got all different kinds of things for you. And if you're looking around and just not finding what you need, or you don't know what you need, you just know that it's not working to the best that it could, shoot us an email at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org, and we'll get right on whatever it is that's confusing you, frustrating you, or just kind of spinning you in circles. That's homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org. Shoot me an email, and we will get right on whatever it is that your need may be. We've got another amazing show today. I'm really excited. Got some really energetic, dynamic people in our community that are doing some amazing things to help keep things moving. We've got Kevin MacDonald, Executive Director of the Santa Clarita Valley Senior Center, that'll be joining us in just a minute. And Jodi Blinn, she's an English facilitator at SCVi. She's going to stop by in the 10 o'clock hour and talk about several interesting projects that she's developing with her learners. They are really cool, really inspiring, and she's also got a way for you to get connected with those projects. And as always, we're going to hear from our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Kristina de Bree. She's got some great tips. You know, I actually received a text yesterday after Christina was on with somebody who, they expressed a little bit of concern about their own well-being. And so Christina's going to dovetail right into what that person's need is, but I suspect that it's affecting a lot of us out there, because when I picked up the phone yesterday and called Christina, she came out with the idea, at the same time I did. So Christina's going to be here. She's going to help keep us balanced, keep us in check, and keep things rolling at home with us. Did you check it out last night? Yesterday on the show, I shared that the Lyrid meteor shower is in town, as it always is around this time of year, but it peaked last night. It was absolutely beautiful. You can still check it out tonight and tomorrow night. What's cool is it's coinciding with the new moon, so there's no moonlight in the sky to distract from the brightness of these shooting stars, and it was absolutely gorgeous last night. I went outside, set up a couple of chairs, and my son and I kind of kicked back out there. He made coffee for us, which was really great. It was a great change of pace, because 10:30, 11 o'clock at night is about the time that we part ways, and he heads into the room and plays with his friends for a little bit before he goes to bed, and online they do a little gaming and things like that, and I kind of settle into the evening and drift off to sleep. And so it was nice. We just kind of kicked back out in front and had a cup of coffee, turned the music down low, played a little Nora Jones, and really enjoyed a beautiful meteor shower last night. Like I said, it was a great change of pace. It was a great way for me to connect with my son. And so if you're a stargazer, you can check that out same time tonight, about 11 o'clock at night. Pop on out there and enjoy. They were really bright and beautiful last night. And if you enjoy fun stargazing events, there's kind of a silly one coming up here on May 16th. Really cool. Jupiter and Venus are kind of aligning in a way that's really fun with kind of an upside down crescent moon. So on May 16th, if you head out and just look for the moon, you're going to find what looks like that emoji on your phone of a smiley face. So you're going to have Jupiter and Venus as these bright eyes in the sky with a big Cheshire cat smiley face of a moon underneath it. It'll be really fun. Make sure that you bring your phone with you. You're going to want to take pictures of that smiley face in the sky. That's May 16th. Set your alarm now. That'll be fun. Alrighty, so let's get to our first guest. He's doing great work in our community and really helping to take care of a lot of us. Kevin MacDonald was born in Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, the third of 7 children. He had to fight for his every day. As a teen, Kevin's friendship with a neighbor with Down syndrome, along with his family's culture of giving back to the community, led him to discover his passion for service, and he soon began volunteering to work with people with disabilities. Now, after receiving his degree in business administration from the University of Dayton in Dayton, Ohio, he returned home to New Jersey to become the director of residential services for an organization called the ARC, the Morris County chapter in Morris Plains, New Jersey. That was the same nonprofit he'd served for as a high school volunteer. There, he directed the largest community-based residential program in New Jersey for people with developmental disabilities. After 3 years in that position, McDonald moved to California to attend UC Berkeley, where he obtained an MBA with a concentration in public and nonprofit management. And after completing his degree, McDonald decided to stay in California. Well, because who wouldn't, right? It's California. The left coast is the best coast. His experience at the ARC in New Jersey helped him get a position as an assistant executive director at the ARC California, located in Sacramento, which was the perfect place for him to become an advocate and lobbyist for people with developmental disabilities on system-wide issues, including state budget, entitlements, and legislation. His short stint there in Sacramento put him in position to become the CEO of the ARC here in Los Angeles and Orange counties, located down in Downey. He served there for 23 years in that position, served more than 400 individuals with developmental disabilities and a staff of more than 70. And so now he's developed himself as a veteran leader in the nonprofit arena. It was no surprise when the Santa Clarita Valley Senior Center came calling and reached out to him soon after they began looking for their new executive director. And Kevin was hired in July of 2016, where he quickly took on the task of developing the new senior center, Bella Vita. And if you have not seen it, as soon as the quarantine allows for it, you've got to stop by and check out Bella Vita. It's gorgeous. McDonald is an avid runner, having competed in the LA and New York marathons. He also loves backpacking in the mountains with his 2 adult sons. They've climbed Half Dome in Yosemite a couple of times, and they had their eyes on Mount Whitney last summer. And so let's ask him, Kevin, did you and your boys make it at Mount Whitney last summer?
No, we got rejected last summer.
Oh, no.
We're online for this year if it opens up in time.
Alrighty, so you guys are doing your training now, huh?
We are.
Rock on. So first of all, I got ahead of myself. Welcome to the show, Kevin. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, Matt. Nice to be with you.
So first, for our audience that isn't so familiar, you and I were talking off the air. The folks that listen are typically homeschooling families that are here looking for curriculum ideas and other things like that. But we have people across the community. Some of them are a little bit more familiar. Some of them might not be. So can you tell us what the Senior Center does here in Santa Clarita Valley? Because there's some confusion about what you do and also what you don't do at the Senior Center.
Right. Well, it's a great history for students everywhere. It's a history of the nonprofit movement in this country. And the Senior Center was a classic example of families getting together years ago saying, what can we do for our seniors in the Santa Clarita Valley? And 43 years ago, a group of people got together and established a nonprofit. And that nonprofit's called the Santa Clarita Valley Committee on Aging. And that was the original name. Now we're more known as the SCV Senior Center. Continued as a nonprofit today, 46 years later, and continuing to just serve the needs of seniors in Santa Clarita. And that's the growth of that nonprofit, as many nonprofits have grown up. And our goal is to bridge that gap where government can't do all the work, so the nonprofit needs to fill in that gap, and that's exactly what we do.
Okay, so that was an interesting thing for me to learn not too long ago. You guys are actually a nonprofit. You're not a county-run organization. You're not a city-run organization, because there are a lot of cities that have government-run senior centers in their community, but that's not the case with you. So, does your guys' funding come from private donations? Where does your funding come from?
Yeah, you're right. It's a unique situation that Santa Clarita decided long ago, and what a great decision so many years ago to say, let's have our own nonprofit to do this. We're funded, here's some more governmental affairs background for you, through the Older Americans Act. And that was established in 1965 on the federal level, and it basically said we're going to take care of our seniors in the United States, and this is how we're going to do it. And they laid out a really nice plan, and today I still think it's an outstanding law, to fund nutrition services like Meals on Wheels, and also to provide supports and services to families. With that act, it helped fund different nonprofits throughout the country, including ours at Santa Clarita. So it starts at the federal level. They adopt the law. It stops in Sacramento for a little bit, and then it's run and managed by the County of Los Angeles through one of their departments, many departments with the county, but it's called WEDAX, Workforce Development, Aging, and Community Services. And then the money comes down to us as a nonprofit.
Okay, so is it exclusively federal funds? Does the city of Santa Clarita get involved, and how does the city help you?
Yeah, Matt, it's a combination, and that's how we're able to survive every year. It's a combination of the county funds through the Old Americans Act. The city helps out tremendously with some of our activities, some of our meals, and some of our transportation. So we cannot do it without the combination of a great county, city support to keep us going, and then the third piece of the pie is the donations from the community, and that makes up the three different thirds of how we're funded.
Well, that's a fantastic model. And so you're constantly pulling from these different resources, and I know fundraising is a huge part of your annual events. Has fundraising dipped off any with the stay-at-home orders and things like that? Have you missed out on any of your annual events?
Well, Celebrity Waiter happened just 2 weeks before everything came down in March, so we were fortunate to get that event in. So I feel for my colleagues in the community who've had their events canceled this year. So it's a tough time for fundraising right now. We have people hurting, we have people unemployed, so we're reaching out, but not too much, because we're sensitive to where the community's at right now. So we're seeking grants from different groups, and the groups that can help us. Our national organization, Meals on Wheels America, just sent down a nice grant to us that we had applied for. We also have local support, like Real Life Church just gave us a nice donation. So we're looking at different folks that can do it, but they can always donate individually. It's
good to hear that you're able to supplement. Yeah, I know whether it's an individual who works on an hourly basis, or small businesses, or excuse me, nonprofits like yourself, Kevin. People have had to be really creative, so that's great to hear that grant funds are coming in and things like that. You mentioned Meals on Wheels. Are you associated with Meals on Wheels? Are you delivering meals to your seniors?
Yeah, sometimes we call it in Santa Clarita home delivered meals, but we're a part of a wonderful national organization called Meals on Wheels America, and we're their local chapter, so to speak. So we cover here and Antelope Valley. So we're doing meals. We've been doing meals for many, many years. And right now, right before March 16th is kind of our trigger date, because that's when we close the senior center. Before that, we were doing about 350 home-delivered meals every day out of Santa Clarita with our own cooks and our own vehicles. Since March 16th, we have doubled that amount. So now we're closer to 700 meals a day going out of Bella Vita every day.
Okay, so prior to the stay-at-home orders, you were delivering a bunch of meals to folks that maybe housebound aren't able to get out to the center, and now I'm just assuming that there are folks that struggle, whether it's because typically they take buses and things like that. So that's great to hear that you're meeting that need. I know you're also feeding folks at the center still. Are they coming into the dining room?
No, we closed the dining room on March 13th. That was our last day we were open to follow all the county orders, and we were fine with doing all that. But the next day, actually that following Monday, we opened up a drive-through at Bella Vita, since we have a nice parking lot to manage it. And that has grown with a free meal to seniors. You have to be 60 and over, but you can go through our drive-through every day. You have to register with us, but most people are already registered. If not, we can register them on site. But Matt, yesterday we had 400 meals given out at our drive-through.
So I want to make sure that I'm remembering the number. You're giving out 400 meals in your driveway, and then you're delivering personally. What did you say? Over 700 meals through the
right.
delivery. Wow.
Yeah,
So
a little lower than 700. So we're producing well over 1,000 meals out of our kitchen at Bella Vita every morning.
that is amazing. That's terrific. And so, what kind of area do you guys cover, from folks that come to you to places that you deliver? How far is it? All over the valley? Is it confined to the city borders? What kind of area do you cover?
It's all over the valley. We just consider general Santa Clarita Valley. So people who have called up and requested a meal, we try to deliver it to them. We are being stretched to our limits. We're very close to that right now, because the old home delivered meals model was you definitely have to be homebound and meet all these requirements. The county has loosened up that requirement a little bit. So many more seniors are asking for home-delivered meals. So we're doing the best we can, but we're overflowing with requests right now. So we're going to battle plan B, C, and D to try to meet all the needs.
It's so exciting to hear how amazingly proactive you guys are and everything that you're doing. And in fact, I kind of got ahead of myself. So what I want to do is I want to take a step back and reset. Before we do that, why don't we just take a quick commercial? We'll come back. We'll talk about the amazing facility you guys are working out of, what it looks like normally when we're not all, shut into our homes and things like that. And then we'll talk about some of the things that you guys have done to pivot. We're talking with Kevin MacDonald this morning. He's the executive director at the Santa Clarita Valley Senior Center. We do need to take a quick break, like I said, but we will be right back for more from Bella Vita. And for more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you're going to find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools Eye in the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
There's a very good reason Embrace Your Smile has been voted Santa Clarita's #1 orthodontist for 10 years in a row.
Honestly, it's our team.
Dr. Megan LeCornu.
I think for me, what makes it stand out is when I have patients that come up to me and say, we have never been in a doctor's office that feels like this. Our team is a family, and we really get along, and we are really passionate about what we do, helping our patients get the smiles they want and deserve.
Dr. Megan LeCornu of Embrace Your Smile Orthodontics.
Embrace your smile.
EmbraceYourSmile.com.
He broke records and piloted the F-18 Super Hornet in combat. Answering our nation's call, he served with honor. Then Mike Garcia returned home to his family, to a far worse California from where he grew up. Now, Garcia's next mission: cut taxes, clean up homelessness in our cities. With California on the brink, we need a fighter to answer the call once again. Mike Garcia for Congress.
I'm Mike Garcia, and I approve this message.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Yes, Dunkin' is open. The continued stay-at-home orders have been rough on all of us, but Dunkin' is trying to make things just a little bit better. There are many ways to get your Dunkin' fix. You can carry out at both locations, or you can drive through at Canyon Country, or get curbside service at the Bouquet Canyon Dunkin'. Both offer Grubhub and Postmates delivery and are open till 6 p.m. Don't forget, use your Dunkin' app for on the go to order, pay, and accumulate points. Dunkin' cares about the SCV.
You see so much when you look at your child. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. Curiosity that develops into exploring unique passions. A little leader growing every day to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make their mark on the world. At SCVi, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free K-12 charter school gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a customized learning program built around each individual student. As iLead's founding school, SCVi combines an immersive approach to traditional subject learning with extracurricular activities including STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. SCVi has the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, with a 10-year proven track record of graduates excelling at top universities. And we're in your backyard, just off the 5 freeway in West Santa Clarita Valley in Castaic. For enrollment information or to learn more about our program, including homeschool options, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
He broke records and piloted the F-18 Super Hornet in combat. Answering our nation's call, he served with honor. Then Mike Garcia returned home to his family, to a far worse California from where he grew up. Now, Garcia's next mission: cut taxes, clean up homelessness in our cities. With California on the brink, we need a fighter to answer the call once again. Mike Garcia for Congress.
I'm Mike Garcia, and I approve this message.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 on the FM dial and 1220 AM. I'm Matt Watson, and this is SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. Just hearing that spot for Mike Garcia, I want to let our listeners know we've got Mike coming on the air tomorrow, so have your questions ready to roll on the Facebook Live post. With the election coming up, we've reached out to Mike as well as Christy Smith, and hopefully we'll be able to have them both here on the air, but Mike will be joining us tomorrow morning. But this morning, we've got Kevin MacDonald, Executive Director at the SCV Senior Center, and he's on the line this morning. Kevin, thanks again for joining us. We appreciate it. My listeners know that I love celebrating special occasions, and you're celebrating a birthday, aren't you?
We are. We certainly are. Well, Bella Vita's celebrating a birthday.
There you go. There you go. So it's Bella Vita's first birthday. So can you tell us a little bit about Bella Vita and the center, what it's like, kind of the evolution? I know you came along for the planning, execution, and full rollout for that.
Well, that was a lot of board members. Peggy Rasmussen, your mom, Elizabeth Hopp, and so many other people had a lot to do with that as they were developing this. We spent about 4 years raising the funds to make this happen. And it's a senior center, but we decided to call the building itself Bella Vita, which means beautiful life. So we're often referred to as Bella Vita, which is just fine by us, but it means beautiful life because we want to give you a beautiful life, and you deserve a beautiful life as a senior. That's what Bella Vita means to us. So it's the SCV Senior Center at Bella Vita. But we opened the doors April 24th. We had a grand opening here. We had about over 600 people show up for what we thought was a simple ribbon cutting. And they kept coming, and we jammed the grand ballroom with folks and had a wonderful morning and afternoon with folks, capped by a day at night to recognize our donors. So we grand opening was April 24th, and we officially opened the doors the following Monday on April 29th without skipping a day. So we were able to close Market Street on one day and open Bella Vita the next day, and then magic happened, Matt, because the crowds kept coming, and we were shocked. But they just kept coming for the lunches, they kept coming for the activities, for the day program, for everything that's offered, the counselors, whatever supports they needed. We became the true hub we wanted to be for senior services in Santa Clarita.
And it absolutely is, Kevin. You know, I had the opportunity to tour a few months back, and Bella Vita is absolutely gorgeous. And you're right, the day that I was there, you guys were just packed with seniors doing all kinds of things. I was really impressed. There were folks shooting pool, and there was a Wii bowling league going on. I saw a guy that was in a wheelchair that was actually just acing people, all different kinds of classes and courses, and then, of course, people just hanging out and having a good time. What it reminded me of is probably one of the most primo country clubs I've ever seen. And I remember telling my mom, I can't wait another 20 years. I got to get into this place. Now, with the recent pandemic, of course, are they guests? Are they clients?
They're just seniors that come to Bella Vita.
There we go.
No real name. We like to use the first names when we can, but they're guests at Bella Vita, and they kind of own the place in many ways.
Okay, so your seniors they're obviously among the most vulnerable, and so now how is coronavirus affecting your ability to meet the needs of the community seniors? Are there things that you guys are struggling to provide, or are you still able to provide everything that you always did?
Well, first and foremost, it is that we've talked to the seniors. I was on a conference call with several seniors this week, and they're definitely struggling because they're a vulnerable population, so they need to keep a little more isolated. But what we've tried to do since day one of this is to provide the supports and services that we can. So as we've already talked about, the nutrition program is in full swing,
right.
And also our counseling program is in full swing. So our counselors are on. They're calling people every day. The phones are open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So people are in crisis. They need help. They're struggling. We want the seniors just to call our number, and we're here to serve them. And that's what we can do during this pandemic, is to always be there for them. Counseling and nutrition has been our new focus. As you know, the activities have been suspended for a while, but we're out there to support them in any way we can at home and safely.
You know, I did hear, we were talking to the Mayor Smythe, a couple of weeks ago, and he had mentioned you guys had taken a very proactive response during the stay-at-home orders. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You said your phone lines are open, but you guys aren't just laying back and waiting for the seniors to call and ask for help, are you?
No, you know, we have a great leadership team. Suzanne Nelson's been with us for over 30 years, and she's got a crackerjack team behind her of what we call care managers. And they're on the phones, and they're listening to people, and from the start of this, they've been reaching out to people. Because sometimes people don't call in. They're a little shy. So we have our phone list, and we're calling them. Sometimes they're called telephone reassurance calls, and it's reassuring people that things are going to be okay, and we will come out of this, and there'll be brighter days in the future. And right now, that's what we got to hope for, and it'll come. It'll come slowly to our seniors, but it'll come.
Yeah, that's. I was so impressed when I heard that as soon as your folks were told to stay home, you guys started picking up the phone and calling every single person on your list, and multiple times. It's not just calling once, hey, how you doing? You're calling back all the time, aren't you?
Yeah, and we're trying, and again, I just have a superior team behind me every day.
That's terrific. Now, you mentioned the food delivery. You've got close to 700 meals that you're delivering every day, but you on site are having over 400 folks drive up and pick up meals every single day. I'm assuming you guys are taking precautions. You're wearing masks. What other precautions are you guys taking to make sure that the delivery is safe for really everyone involved?
Yeah, you know, we continue to adjust that, but everyone has masks, everyone has gloves. We're requiring masks. If you come into our parking lot, you have to have a mask on in your car, because we don't want to give you a meal without a mask. We also have masks to give the seniors right now. We got a nice little donation, so if a senior doesn't have a mask, we're able to distribute a few masks here, which is nice. And then we give them a meal, but it's at the end of over a 6-foot table. So it's not like your Mcdonald's drive-through. Nothing against them, but you're not up against the window. There's no exchange of a card or anything like that. We're just giving you a meal, 1 or 2 meals, depending how many you've ordered for your car, how many of our seniors you're serving.
Okay.
So it's a very, very safe operation that we continue to improve upon. So you're staying in your car. You're not getting out. You're getting the meal at the end of a 6-foot table with a staff member there with masks and gloves on, and more importantly, for you to have a mask on as well.
That's terrific. You know, I was looking at one of the pictures, I believe it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before yesterday, of the team that you had there serving meals, and I think it was a photo op for some folks in the city that were there, and it was funny. I was kind of looking, trying to identify different people, but, you know, just going from the eyebrows to the bottom of the eyelids, it was tough to find people. So it's good to hear that you guys are staying safe. Now, you mentioned something interesting, depending on how many seniors you're serving. So I may have, let's say my parents live with me, and they're accustomed to heading out to Bella Vita and having lunch and hanging out with their friends every day, and now they're with me. Do I need to bring them to the senior center to pick up the meals, or can I come and pick up for them?
No, Matt, we'd rather you pick them up. We'd rather the younger folks pick it up for their family members. As long as we have their name and they're registered with us, we have a little card in your window, and you hold up your first and last name, and if they're with us, you can pick it up for several people. You can pick it up for your neighbors. I have one person picking it up for 12 different people. It saves us from going door to door, and it's also, if the senior is hesitant, they can get someone else to pick it up for them, no questions asked.
Well, that's really interesting, and I hadn't thought of that. So if I'm aware that maybe my neighbor or the lady down the street typically heads to Bella Vita for lunch every day, I can offer to go swing by and pick up for her, leave it on the front porch. That's a great service I can do for my community. That's relatively easy. Now, we touched on it a little bit earlier. How's the center managing financially during this time?
This is one of our greatest challenges. We thought opening up would be a challenge for us, and it was. but we had to, as of March 16th, we had to furlough many staff members because they're not in the nutrition or counseling. So lots of our activities went down. So we're just trying to make ends meet right now. And as a private nonprofit, like we discussed earlier, we're reaching out for grants and support. People can make a donation going to our website if they can do that and hit the Donate Now button and help us out that way. So it's one of the greatest challenges, not only for the Senior Center, but my colleagues in the community that are struggling. So it's really a time to call to arms to assist the nonprofits if you financially can. This is a great time to assist them because, like I said, the events aren't happening, and the outreach, we're cautious because there is a lot of unemployment right now. But if you can help a nonprofit that you love.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dichotomy. There are a lot of folks that have been very adversely affected economically, but there are folks that are still working and they have their businesses and things are coming in. So can you give us the website really quick if people are interested in donating?
Sure. It's www. It's SCV-SeniorCenter.org.
SCV-SeniorCenter.org. Fantastic. So head on over and make your donations if you're able. They're doing great work over there. So Kevin, what would you say is the most pressing need? Donations come flooding in this weekend. What would be the most pressing need there?
I think the donations and the thoughts and prayers of the community for our seniors that are out there are so important. We need the positive vibes going to our seniors right now. And in terms of volunteers, we have the drive-through, so if an organization wants to adopt a day, we could get some of their volunteers, a limited number, but a number of volunteers in our parking lots to be cheerleaders and cheering them on from a safe distance. We can do something like that. We're looking for some long-term drivers for our Meals on Wheels program so people can help us out through this pandemic and beyond if they want to help out with our Meals on Wheels program. And people can give us a call because, like I said, someone's on the phones every day. And our phone number is 661-259-9444, and we can work with you to see how you can help.
Fantastic. So we can actually, if maybe my kids are part of a cheerleading group, they can head out and put a smile on folks' faces as they drive in to pick up meals, or maybe I've just got a group of friends or my business wants to take a break for a couple hours and head on out there and maybe put on some colored wigs and things like that and just brighten the day of folks as they come in and pick up their meals. They can head out there, keep their safe distance, and participate that way. That's cool.
Yeah, Matt, and like we said, very, very small groups because we're going to keep our social distance. Sure. But there's definitely avenues to help out. So, like I said, if you give us a call, we'll try to work with you because we know people want to give back in this time. People want to reach out. And speaking of reaching out, it's also that time, as you do, is to reach out to your neighbors and your friends and your relatives. Are you calling them? Are you keeping in better touch, especially with our senior population, which is so isolated right now? I think if each of us looks at our small circles in our communities and reaches out to them by phone or call, it's really going to make a difference in their lives. I see the smiles every day in our parking lot, and we need to reach out to more people.
Definitely. That's a great idea. We're constantly reminding our listeners to think of folks who may be isolated, whether they're seniors or maybe a college student just living on their own or something like that. But, yeah, we need to stay connected, make sure that all our points are touched right now. Now, I know that some of our listeners are sitting there and they're thinking, wow, that place sounds great. It sounds perfect for me or perfect for someone in my life, mom, dad, the guy next door. How can seniors get connected and benefit from everything that you're doing at this time?
It's really to give us a call. Just to clarify, though, we're not residential. We're day and country club type activities here. Almost everything is free. Some of the classes are a little bit of a charge, but almost everything is free. So we built it, and we built it with the county and the city support to make it for the entire community, and that's the nice thing. But to first reach out is to call us and just get on our list. Get registered with us, and that's free too, and see how we can help you now and in the future. Because we come out of this, we want to be in touch with everyone who's interested in receiving the wonderful supports and services that our staff and our volunteers are able to give. And maybe we can touch on volunteers before we finish. Such an important component of the Senior Center.
Yeah, definitely. Go for it. I know that this week is it National Volunteer Week?
It's National Volunteer Week, and every week should be National Volunteer Week.
Absolutely.
In the day, we have 200 people volunteering here through every single month through our great volunteer corps. It's seniors helping seniors. Right now, as I look out my window, of my office, and I see the home-delivered meals cars going out, and those are mostly staffed by volunteers right now. So they come in every day. We call them the Bella Vita Warriors, because they are true warriors going up to all these homes. It's a simple situation, but they're knocking and dropping the food and backing off 6 feet to make sure that people get their meals. But these people coming in here every day doing several shifts of meals. I have my kitchen crew coming at 5:30 in the morning, and these are volunteers. They don't get a lot of thanks. They get the smiles. But, boy, we want to root them on and just thank them, because it is a week of giving thanks to these incredible unpaid volunteers. Our board of directors, your mother is president of our board, all volunteers on our board of directors who keep giving back when they can. It's a special week. So an extra note to say thank you to all of them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So so folks can volunteer delivering meals. Like you mentioned, maybe small groups can come out and be part of that reception crew in your parking lot. Are there other ways that folks can volunteer? Can they volunteer for your kitchen crew or any other services at this time?
We can take a list right now, Matt, but we're very cautious about how many people we have entering the building. We're really at bare bones and skeleton crew for entering the building at this point, as you can know, we're taking the precautions. So I know people want to help out. We have limited capacity for volunteering at this time, and I have a list 3 pages long, which is wonderful. We are looking for those long-term drivers, and that's a big help. But give us a call and see what we can do.
Absolutely. I know Shane's yelling at me to get out for commercial, but a quick question on Facebook. People are wondering if you're offering any classes on Zoom for our seniors right now.
We will be. We'll be launching that very soon, and we'll make an announcement on that. We're trying to get some of our instructors in to do some Zoom classes and also some YouTube things for us.
Fantastic.
So we should be launching that soon.
That sounds good. We'll look forward to that announcement. Kevin, thank you so much for your time. More than anything, thank you for referring to me as a younger person, and thank you for all that you're doing, you and your team, everything that you do every day for our seniors. You guys are heroes. We do have to take a couple more quick commercials, but stick around. We'll be right back with some important information for you. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools, Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Folks, this is your pancake speaking. If you look out your window, we're flying over IHOP's delicious international pancake combos.
Sweet tres leches.
A pancation wonderland with views of Belgian chocolate, tres leches, and vanilla spice.
Pancakes.
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 Pancakes. You know, let's back this thing up and take another look.
Go on a pancation with international pancakes at IHOP, starting at $4.99.
I never thought I'd be looking for an assisted living home until Mom got sick. Suddenly, there were questions that I didn't have answers to, and only limited time to find the answers. What facility could take the best care of Mom? Then my mother's social worker gave me a brochure for assisted living locators and informed me that assisted living locators is recommended by more healthcare professionals than any other agency.
Call Shannon at Assisted Living Locators, 544-1004. That's 544-1004.
This is your moment. Your perception has everything to do how this year is going to work. Many times your past experiences will dictate how you will fight your internal battles. It is not what others perceive about me, it's what I perceive about myself that matters. Remember, you will not be defeated by what others say about you. You will be defeated by what you say about you. This is the year of your remodeling, removing, and rebuilding your best self.
For more information regarding service times, visit iElevateChurch.com.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
We salute our veterans who sacrificed for our freedom.
Santa Clarita veteran Bill Reynolds.
Each week, we share an inspirational story of a local veteran on our Hometown Heroes page at hometownstation.com, thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. we're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. You are listening to Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson. Well, today is April 22nd, and you know what that means. It's Earth Day. And did you realize that today is the 50th anniversary of Earth Day? That's right. Very first Earth Day took place on April 22nd, 1970. It's an annual global celebration in support of environmental protection, but this year the coronavirus pandemic is making it a little bit difficult to get outside and have mass tree plantings and honor the beauty of our planet. It's a little tough, but Earth Day is not canceled. As a matter of fact, producer Sarah sent me a story right before we came on the air talking about how the earth is turning a little bit more wild and a little bit more clean as people stay home. Not so many people driving around. You know, the air pollution in Los Angeles is down 29%. And if you spent any time on social media, which, who are you lying to? I'm on social media. I've seen you there. All of us have. We've probably seen those videos of wild animals just kind of roaming freely through the streets of Madrid or Sydney or even Los Angeles. And as I sit at home, I can imagine the coyotes and the possums and the raccoons here in Santa Clarita must just be having an absolute field day, wandering around and just loving it. You know, those coyotes are thinking that they're kings of the streets, and so the earth is kind of also enjoying this time to take a deep breath and clean her systems. But like I said, Earth Day is not canceled. With the majority of the world's population in some form of isolation or other, Earth Day events have been canceled. Just about all Earth Day events have been canceled, but there's some cool things going on. Some organizations are getting really creative, as we all must do during these times. They're moving the holiday online with free virtual panels, even free Earth Day concerts and other festivities that anyone can join in. I'll have that website for you here in just a second. But you need to be celebrating Earth Day as well. We all can do some little things, even though we are safer at home. There's some things that we can do to celebrate Earth Day right where you are. Speaking of earthquakes, there was a mild little trembler last night, about midnight. I don't know if you felt it, Shane, but a lot of folks on my social media channels were talking about a little bit of the rumbling. It was no big deal. About a 3.7 is what I heard. Anyways, we're talking about Earth Day, not earthquakes. You can celebrate Earth Day right where you are. The Student Conservation Center, the SCA, offers these ideas on how to celebrate this year. Take a hike. Yeah, our city's parks and hiking trails are still open. Gorgeous hiking trails. The city's hiking trails, not the county. Do beware. Places like Towsley Canyon that are county operated are closed, but you can head to our city's hiking trails, take a hike, enjoy that fresh air that's 27% or 29% fresher than normal. Enjoy that. Take your family on a hike, maintain your social distance as folks are coming the other way. Maybe take a mask with you just in case. So go out, take a hike, and enjoy Mother Nature. Or you can create a pollinator habitat. A pollinator habitat. You know what pollinators are? Those are those insects and bugs that help flowers pollinate. You can create some attractions for them. Pollinator habitats are home to wildflowers, companion plants, and a dynamic system of bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. These habitats can be found in all different shapes and sizes, from the California coast to the Appalachian Mountains and beyond. And you can create one, creating wildflower seed balls. It's a great family activity at home, and this website can help you learn how to create that and have a lot of fun with your families. Plant a tree. You know, Lowe's and Home Depot and local nurseries are still open. Strap on a mask, head on out and pick up a sapling and plant a tree that you can watch grow through the years. You know, I had the opportunity with some of the learners from SCVi last year and the year before to go plant some trees in Puerto Rico, helping to reforest so many of the trees that were lost in the hurricane there. And then we went back the following year. We were able to see how those very trees that we planted had grown, and we were able to take care of them and tend them. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, we weren't able to go back this year, but planting a tree can be a fun activity that lasts the rest of our lives and beyond. You can celebrate Earth Day by reducing your energy consumption. Turn off the lights, open up the windows, let the sun pour in. You know, it's going to be a little bit warmer this week, but if you adjust your window schedule, open those windows at night, get the house nice and cool at night, and then about 10 o'clock in the morning, you shut those windows, trap that nice cool air in, and you can take it easy on your AC, save a little bit of money, and help reduce the energy consumption. Or build a garden, grow a garden in your house. For more information on these ideas, I will be posting the website, but you can go to thesca.org and celebrate Earth Day every day. It is time for a quick break. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers with your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
And now, a cooking tip from Keith Mowry of Bob's Country Meats. Cooking brisket is simple, whether you do it in the oven or on the grill.
Okay, briskets come out nice. You want to brown them up real good on the barbecue over medium heat. Season them up however you like. Wrap them in foil. Put them on the other side, go down to a low temperature, low heat, and let that go for about 2.5–3 hours, just on the low with the lid closed.
For the tastiest brisket in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
Town Cleaners on Soledad is offering free dry cleaning for all first responders and medical personnel. Free pickup and delivery is also available. Call Mo at 250-1542. 250-1542. Town Cleaners on Soledad.
Paid for by Lose Debts. Did you know that the average American household owes over $16,000 in credit card debt? These credit card companies try to lure you in with low starting rates or tons of airline points just to jack up the interest rates after a few months. Before you know it, you're in over your head and struggling to make the minimum payments. It's important to know you're not alone, and Lose Debts has helped thousands of good people just like you avoid the expensive and lengthy bankruptcy process. With our debt reset program, your debt can be reduced by more than half, and all future interest will be eliminated, making you debt-free in as little as 24 months. This is not alone, and unlike other companies, we do not charge upfront fees or out-of-pocket expenses. Best of all, we provide a 100% money-back guarantee. What are you waiting for? Speak to our agents today at 800-418-5403. That's 800-418-5403. Quit losing sleep over your debt payments. Call us for help. 800-418-5403. Again, 800-418-5403.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 10 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Even worse news for Social Security. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. A new report finds that financial conditions in the government's two biggest benefit programs remain shaky, and that's before factoring in any impact of the coronavirus. Though the projected timetables just released as part of annual trustees' reports are unchanged from last year's estimates, showing Social Security on track to no longer be able to pay full benefits starting in 2035, and Medicare projected to become insolvent in 6 years. Missouri's Attorney General Eric Schmidt defending the state's lawsuit against China.
This lawsuit, and the reason why I think it's so important, and we hope that other states might follow suit, is really about getting to the truth. And the more we learn, the more disturbing it is, and it's about holding the Chinese government accountable, which is why we feel so strongly we brought that case in federal court yesterday.
Missouri is the first state to sue China over its handling of the initial outbreak, but there have been a string of private class action suits around the country seeking trillions of dollars. All of them in doubt, though, under a current law which offers immunity. U.S. intelligence officials say Iran's attempted satellite launch early today may have been a failure. They're still analyzing whether any satellite made it into space, but the launch still sounding the alarm at the Defense and State Departments. It was a military satellite from Iran's Revolutionary Guard.
I think today's launch proves what we've been saying all along here in the United States. The IRGC, a designated terrorist organization, launched a missile today.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says every nation should be asking whether the launch violates a UN Security Council resolution on Iran. Meantime, President Trump warning earlier in a tweet he's told the U.S. Navy to shoot down and destroy any and all Iranian gunboats if they harass U.S. ships at sea, which has happened recently in the Persian Gulf. America is listening to Fox News.
Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
New tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout, use my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Here's what you can do. Get a low fixed-rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream and pay off those credit card balances. You can get a loan from $5,000 to $100,000. The process is all online. You never have to leave the house. And you could get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR, but with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 5.95% APR with AutoPay.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money with a much lower rate. Thanks, Lightstream.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com/radio for an additional discount. Lightstream.com/radio.
Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.5% auto pay discount. Terms and conditions apply and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/radio for more information.
It's not exactly remote voting, but some House lawmakers would be able to vote from home under a controversial proposal in Congress.
House Democrats have released a resolution allowing members of Congress to vote by proxy. The rules change, which needs a majority approval, would allow a lawmaker unable to return to Washington to designate another lawmaker who can return to vote on their behalf. The arrangement would need to be requested in writing ahead of the vote, and the resolution would expire after 60 days, renewed only during a pandemic emergency. Republican leaders are expressing opposition, raising constitutional questions, and warning of upending more than 200 years of precedent. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
There had been talk of voting on that resolution tomorrow, but now that's not expected. The House does plan to vote tomorrow on the new relief bill passed by the Senate yesterday. Over $480 billion, most of it to replenish a small business fund that ran out of money last week. The president's taking a controversial step on immigration, a temporary suspension by executive order aimed in part at protecting jobs for Americans. As the U.S. begins to reopen, Democrats are slamming that as an authoritarian move. The show will go on. That from New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, who says the city will celebrate the 4th of July, which usually includes a massive fireworks display sponsored by Macy's that draws huge crowds. De Blasio says he's been in contact with Macy's.
There's definitely going to be fireworks. How we do them, where we do them, how we do it in a way that's safe and keeps New Yorkers healthy, a lot of questions that we have to answer between now and then.
The mayor recently canceled permits for events through June. Wall Street rebounding as oil prices rise. The Dow's been up over 400 points. I'm Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
If you're tired of your nail polish chipping a day or two after an expensive manicure, then you'll love the gel nail polish manicure now offered by Ann. Ann is a licensed manicurist serving the Santa Clarita Valley in Canyon Country for over 15 years. And now she's offering the gel manicure that lasts without chipping for up to 2 weeks. Log on to hometownstation.com for details on how to get an amazing deal on gel nails by Ann on Restaurant Row, or call Ann at 250-8340.
Who says nothing good happens after midnight? Denny's is best known for their breakfast served round the clock, like the Grand Slam. But you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner in a casual atmosphere 24/7. At Denny's, the lunch and dinner menu has a variety of appetizers, craveable burgers, salads, and entrees, along with the best desserts in town. Wherever you live in Santa Clarita, there's a Denny's close by. If you're pulling an all-nighter or don't feel like cooking, get into Denny's today. good stuff is happening at Denny's.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Town Cleaners on Soledad is offering free dry cleaning for all first responders and medical personnel. Free pickup and delivery is also available. Call Mo at 250-1542. 250-1542. Town Cleaners on Soledad.
Hi, son. Can you help me back up this truck into the Dutton Plumbing warehouse?
Hold it. Turn off the truck. What's going on?
Well, I was watching the news.
Uh-oh.
And I heard we should stock up on supplies. So I just bought a whole truckload of toilet paper for us.
Mom, we don't need this much toilet paper. This receipt says 100 cases. We'll never use that much.
I think we will when the Senior Ladies Club goes out for Taco Tuesdays and they can really tear it up.
Now I can't unsee that. How about if we just share all the toilet paper with our customers?
Maybe something like call now and get a roll of Dutton Plumbing toilet paper for just $73.
Maybe that would work better if we threw in a free drain clearing, Mom?
DuttonPlumbing.com. Get a roll of toilet paper for just $73 plus a free drain clearing. It flows or it's free with a money-back guarantee. Go to DuttonPlumbing.com.
He broke records and piloted the F-18 Super Hornet in combat. Answering our nation's call, he served with honor. Then Mike Garcia returned home to his family, to a far worse California from where he grew up. Now, Garcia's next mission: cut taxes, clean up homelessness in our cities. With California on the brink, we need a fighter to answer the call once again. Mike Garcia for Congress.
I'm Mike Garcia, and I approve this message.
City Councilman Bob Keller here. Keep it tuned to 98.1 FM and AM 1220 KHTS, hometownstation.com, for the latest information regarding COVID-19. KHTS will have both national and local news and information during this unprecedented time. For more, go to the KHTS website or the KHTS Facebook page. KHTS is also available online in the free app for iPhone and Android. Continue to social distance, only going out if it's absolutely necessary, and continue to check on friends and family. With your help, we will flatten the curve and come through this stronger than ever.
The
Thank you.
following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. And we are also streaming live on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us. It's good to see you. Although I can't see you, you can see me, and we appreciate it. I am your host, Matt Watson. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. My next guest today is an English teacher. We call our teachers facilitators. Jodi is an English facilitator who's sparking passion in her students and with some incredible projects that you can actually get involved in. And so let's bring her in. Jodi Blinn grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, but she relocated to Southern California in the year 2000. Jodi originally discovered SCVi when she was looking for a new school for her two children, Zach and Zoe. After 1 year of watching the staff at SCVi treat her children with dignity and respect while consistently challenging them to meet their goals and be their best selves, Jodi knew she wanted to be part of that team. Jodi began her employment at SCVi as a one-on-one learner aide and advisory facilitator in 2014, and she quickly transitioned to facilitating 9th and 10th grade English full-time the next year in 2015. Jodi also teaches a slam poetry elective, and she coaches the SCVi Upper School Get Lit Slam Poetry Team. How awesome does that sound? Yeah, I'm the Get Lit coach. That is so cool. Jodi attended Tulane University in New Orleans and California State University of Northridge, where she earned her BS in Communication Studies. She earned her single-subject teaching credential and her Master's of Education from the University of Laverne. Jodi loves to read, seriously, almost to the point of addiction. She also loves dance, slam poetry, obviously, and she loves creating ketogenic recipes. She loves Star Wars and Harry Potter and recording for posterity, all of the hilarious things that her children say on Facebook. And as a matter of fact, I believe sometime next week we may be featuring one of her kids on one of Jodi's Facebook posts here on the show, but we'll get to that next week. Jodi, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Matt. It's good to be here.
Of course. We're so glad to have you, and I look forward to sharing with our listeners these exciting projects that you've got going on. But first of all, tell us a little bit more about yourself. I talked a little bit about you moving from the Big Easy out here to Southern California, but talk to us a little bit more about your journey and how you got to SCVi. What grades and subjects do you teach? Who is Jodi Blinn?
Well, you've pretty much covered most of it, but yes, I moved from New Orleans to LA in 2000, and I've been in Santa Clarita for about 16 years. I found SCVi for my kids originally. I was looking for a different experience for my son at the time, who was going into third grade, and I went and toured. He was in the Saugus Union School District at the time, and I went and toured SCVi probably 3 times, and we decided to move him over to SCVi. And my daughter was entering kindergarten at the time, so she's been there since the beginning of her school journey. But it was just a really great experience for both of them. And now that my son is in high school and my daughter's in 6th grade, I can really look back and say that it was, in hindsight, it was 100% the best decision ever. And not only was it the best decision for them, but it was a pretty good decision for me too, because we've all kind of found our niche at SCVi.
Well, you know, you are definitely a great addition to the staff there, and your kids are also a wonderful addition to our community and our culture. You know, I do want to give a little bit of a shameless plug. You mentioned the tours that you took to decide whether or not to move your kids over. This is the time of year when a lot of families start touring our campus and checking things out. And unfortunately, with our campus closed, they're not able to take actual tours. Not a whole lot to see with our kids at home anyways, but our team is working on virtual tours of SCVi, and so you can head on over to ileadsantaclarita.org for more information. Just click on Enroll Now, and that'll just send a little message to our team, and they'll reach out to you and talk to you about our school and get you connected as soon as those virtual tours are up online. So head on over, like I said, to ileadsantaclarita.org. Let's get back to it, though, Jodi. Can you explain a little bit? We're going to talk this first break about the 10th grade personal project. You're working on something really special with not just the kids in your English class, but all of the sophomores at SCVi. Can you explain to our audience what the personal project is and why SCVi participates in it?
Sure. So I am the 10th grade English facilitator, so that means I have all the 10th graders.
You do have all the 10th graders in your English class. Okay, cool.
I do have every single one, except there's a few that participate in personal projects through our innovation program, and so they are not in my English class, but I work closely with innovation to make sure that they are able to 100% participate.
And that's our independent study program that's designed for kids for any number of reasons. Maybe your child is an actor or a very active athlete or just needs an independent study program, but they also can roll into Jodi's program and do the personal project with her. Apologize for the interruption. Let's get back to that. So personal project, why does SCVi participate and what is it?
Okay, so it's really one of our major upper school SCVi milestones. It's inspired from the middle years program, which is part of the International Baccalaureate program for grades 8 through 10. We do the personal project for a few reasons. First of all, it really complements iLead's philosophy on the importance of project-based learning. It's a cumulative experience for everything our learners have learned about project-based learning through their years at SCVi, and they basically get to design their own projects based on their own individual interests and passions. And it's very self-directed and student-centered.
So it's something where kids are really encouraged to explore what they're passionate about and develop kind of whatever project they want. That's really exciting. So you said this is a year-long process. Can you break it down? What does it look like from the learner's perspective? Where do they start kind of from day one to when they get all the way up to the personal project reveal?
Okay, so we actually start talking about it at the end of ninth grade so that they can kind of have a familiarity with what they're going to be doing, and they can think about their topics over the summer, or even start over the summer if they'd like. But right at the beginning of 10th grade, we start really getting into personal projects. They brainstorm ideas for topics they want to learn about. They identify what they already know, and then they research what they'll need to know to complete the project. And we really start with the why. So the primary focus for discovering their topics is not necessarily about what they're going to do, but why they're going to do it. We talk about what they're passionate about, what excites them, and what inspires them to learn and explore. After they pick a topic, they create a personal project proposal, and they follow many of the same steps that the facilitators do when we plan PBL for our learners. So that means they identify a goal, they decide on a final product, and they write a driving question. They make decisions and develop understanding through research and problem solving. One of the really cool things is that they get to work with a mentor, which should be an expert in the field that they are exploring. And they journal about their process through the whole year. And then finally, they finalize their final products or outcome. They write a pretty extensive research paper about their experience that includes both narrative and academic expository writing. And a big part of the paper, I think personally one of the most important parts of the paper, is a reflection on their process and what they learned. It's important to note that even if they don't always succeed or they face obstacles along the way and have to adjust their goals, that experience is still valuable. It's perhaps even more valuable because we often learn more about ourselves when faced with the possibility of failure. And then lastly, they present their projects to a panel of assessors on personal project reveal day.
Wow, so this is not just something that the kids are excited about that they want to explore more. This is a deeply rigorous project. They're doing some hardcore thinking. As my teaching friends, our teaching friends know, that reflection piece at the end is so important. Now, you mentioned, Jodi, that you start with that question, what are you passionate about? And I'm thinking back when I was a sophomore in high school. I was 15, going on 16 years old. If you'd have asked me what kind of things I was passionate about, what was I excited about, you would have received a resounding, oh. So does that ever happen when you're working with your kids? I can imagine it does when a kid just simply has no idea what they're passionate about. How do you handle that?
Yeah, it happens all the time. I mean, there are some learners that know right away, and they've been thinking about it since 7th or 8th grade.
Sure.
And there's other learners that have no idea. So we brainstorm. We really focus on that why, the things that bring them joy, the questions that they have, or even possible future careers. We make pros and cons lists. So sometimes a learner might say, oh, I'm really interested in learning how to fly a plane. And so we have to look at that in a practical way. It's like, that's awesome, but how much does that cost? And are your parents willing to help you to achieve that goal monetarily, or are you willing to put in the time to do the fundraising that you're going to need to get those funds to achieve that goal? We journal. We have one-on-one conversations. Really anything they need to help them make a decision, I try to talk them through that.
That's terrific, and I can imagine that over the years it becomes an art form that you're really kind of honing. So you talked about the mentors, and I think it's beautiful. That's kind of been over the last maybe 40, 50 years in our culture, that's been an art or a dynamic in our society that we've lost, where the young people are connecting with professionals or experts in the field and really tutoring or apprenticing under them. So who are these mentors? Who gets involved? Is it faculty and staff there on campus or people off campus? Who are the mentors, and then what are the qualifications to be a mentor?
Okay, so it can be faculty and staff on campus, but a mentor can also be any member of the community that has real-world experience in a specific field relevant to the individual learner's project. So we often have staff members that do have real-world experience in the fields that our learners are exploring, but often they go out into the community and find mentors in the community. The only qualifications are that they're over 18 and that they're willing to communicate on a fairly regular basis, either in person or over the phone or email, to help the learner with the practical real-world implications of their project. I once had a learner whose mentor was an older gentleman, and he didn't like communicating through email or the phone, so they wrote letters to each other, which I thought was really kind of sweet.
That is beautiful, and what a great experience on both ends of that communication. The learner writing letters to communicate, and then, oh God, that's beautiful. So talk to us about these projects. I can only imagine what my listeners are thinking right now of, okay, you ask a 15-year-old, 16-year-old what they're passionate about and kind of let them go from there, adopting a mentor and developing this project. So can you give us some examples of projects that your learners have developed maybe in past years or even this year? What are some of the past and current personal projects that kids have worked on?
Absolutely. Okay, so we get a variety. One of my favorites last year is we had a learner who created an EP of electronic dance music. I think she did 4 tracks. And then her friend created an animated short film and used her music to score her animated short film. I thought that was a really great example of doing 2 separate projects but also collaborating together.
Habit number 7, synergize, yeah.
And then this year we have our first ever group project. We had a group of 5 learners that wanted to form a band and then make a documentary about their experience. So this is the first time we've had a big group personal project. They are all individually doing, the different parts of their project, like the paper and the presentation, but they really, their project is really collaborative. We've had learners learning how to build furniture or rebuilding an engine in a car. We've had service projects like cleaning plastic pollution from the ocean, or raising money for homeless pets in Mexico, or volunteering in the community. We've had a really wide variety.
Well, that's fantastic. You kind of run the gamut. That is really cool. I know I've attended the personal project reveal in years past, and it's always such an exciting event to see what different learners have tapped into, and like you said, the wide variety of things that they get involved in. Now, as you're mentioning some of these projects, I'm starting to kind of rack my brain a little bit, because like everyone that we're talking to, we've all had to shift with the pandemic and now distance learning. Things are a little bit different. So now I'm thinking about these learners that have gotten together to form a band. It's a little bit hard when we're quarantined for them to get together and perform, right?
Yes.
What other adjustments have you had to make to the personal project due to distance learning?
Well, we've had to make quite a few adjustments. One of the ways that we were lucky is that when school closed on March 13th, we had gotten quite a bit of the way through the project and all of the requirements for the project. So that helped. Some of the projects, and it's a very individual thing, some of the projects were very social in nature that required the learner to be out in the world. For example, I have a really cool project I have this year is on the value of risk-taking, and the learner planned all these different adventures and was blogging on the adventures. And so she was unable to finish up her last few adventures. But then I have some other projects that were very solitary in nature that could be finished at home. So it was very individual. And one of the things I told the learners, that I stressed to the learners that I think is super important, is that we can only do the best we can with what we have. This is a very unprecedented situation for everybody. Nobody expected this, and we can only do the best we can with what we have. And again, to go back to what I said about it really being about the process, this is part, for this year, this is part of our process. And the thing that I want them to focus on is just explaining what's going on in the world and how it affected their project. And I think that that is an important part of this year's project for our 10th graders. Additionally, we normally do a live event in our Shakespeare Theater. It's an all-day event. The learners create these beautiful trifold display boards where they show off what they did and their final products, and other classes in the community can come in and really see what they've done. At the same time, they're presenting individually on our stage. They're doing their oral presentation on our stage. So we've had to change that. I really wanted to still honor all the hard work that they did from September to March. So I wanted to make sure that we were able to still have a reveal day in some way. So we changed our personal project reveal from a live event to a virtual reveal on Zoom, which we will be doing next week.
Everybody's Zooming. That's great. And it's interesting. You mentioned the learner that's looking at the value of risk-taking. This actually might be an opportunity for them to pivot, right? You talk about risk-taking. Let me take off my mask and do the grocery shopping at Walmart. Maybe we could do a pros and cons kind of thing. We do have just a minute before we need to take a commercial break, but I did promise our listeners that they have an opportunity to get involved. You talked about mentors. If our listeners are listening, we've got a very active community here in Santa Clarita, always looking to help each other out. If our listeners would like to be a mentor next year, is there something that they can do to get in touch with you to set that up for next year?
Yes, and I would love that. So if someone is interested in being a mentor, the best thing that they could do is email me. My email address is jodi.blinn, and you spell that Jodi B like boy, Linn, at SCVi-K12.org.
Fantastic, and we're going to post that on our Facebook Live feed. So if you're interested in supporting a young person who's passionate about an area that you may have expertise in, connect with Jodi. Let her know what you do and what areas you have some experience in, and she'll get you on the list, and hopefully you can mentor a young person or two for next year. We're talking to Jodi Blinn, English facilitator and Get Lit Poetry Slam coach at SCVi. Yeah. We are going to take a short commercial break, but stay tuned. When we come back, Jodi will be talking to us about getting lit. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
The minute I open my door,
Debbie Morris has a problem.
I say, oh my gosh.
A really big problem.
The dog, the cat, my 3-year-old.
Debbie's house is a mess.
How can one family create this disaster?
Debbie needs Made for You.
I need help.
Professional, residential, and commercial cleaning, locally owned. You choose the schedule, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or even one-time seasonal cleaning. Call 255-2922. That's 255-2922. Made for You.
Made for You rescued me.
There are many memorable restaurants in Santa Clarita, but 3 words stand out from the crowd. Mom can cook.
Mamá puede cocinar.
Mom can cook the best Thai food on this side of the planet.
Mama fait la cuisine.
No matter what language you use, Mom Can Cook says it all. Thai food at its finest, all your favorite dishes, and Mom's very own original specialties. Experience it on Soledad by the Canyon Country Post Office.
Mama Origa Jostesio.
Mom Can Cook.
This is Suzette Martinez Valadares. Many child care centers are closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The child care providers that are open are serving our essential workforce and finding it very difficult to find or purchase the supplies needed to keep their facilities clean and children healthy. Our healthcare professionals are fighting to save lives. First responders and law enforcement are bravely serving our community. And our grocery store clerks are keeping our local markets stocked. This is our chance to help them. This is why we are launching Operation Childcare. Our mission is to collect donations for local early childhood education providers serving our frontline essential workforce. Donations needed include hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, disinfectant spray, disposable gloves, and masks. These donations can be dropped off at KHTS Radio, located at 24320 Main Street in Newhall, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
This is Bradley Gross from Santa Clarita Grocery. Santa Clarita Grocery serves
fresh groceries to families, individuals, and those experiencing homelessness. At Santa Clarita Grocery, out of every dollar donated, a full 99 cents goes directly to the needs being addressed. As an all-volunteer-led organization, we operate on a 1% overhead, receiving no government funding for our operations in the community, resulting in us being one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. If you're looking to support the good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery. What is donated is specifically kept in the Santa Clarita Valley, helping over 3,000 families, including 5 other community charities. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or visit us on social media or call us at 425-7575. That's 425-7575.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson. We're talking this morning with English facilitator and Get Lit poetry slam coach at SCVi, Jodi Blinn. Jodi, thanks so much for joining us. Let's jump right into it. Tell us what Get Lit is. It's such an exciting title, and I would love to be able to say that I'm the Get Lit coach. What is Get Lit, and why does SCVi participate in that?
Okay, so Get Lit is a Los Angeles-based organization founded by Diane Luby Lane, and their focus is to increase literacy and help students find a voice through poetry. They use a unique call and response model. So this means learners read and analyze classic poetry, and that doesn't necessarily mean old poetry, though it can mean old poetry, but good poetry that's been published. And then they write a response to their classic poems and perform them both live. Get Lit provides classroom curriculum. They sponsor a yearly slam poetry competition. They provide scholarships. And they have a lot of other programs that you can, if you're interested in learning more about them, they have a website. It's getlit.org.
Very cool. So kids are reading and memorizing professionally published poetry, and then they write their own original poem kind of in response to that poem. That's a really cool thing, and the event is super exciting. So is this something that you use as part of your regular English curriculum, or is this an extracurricular activity?
Well, it's both. So every year we do an 8-week Get Lit project in 9th grade. So this is kind of introducing our 9th graders to poetry and what Get Lit is. The 10th through 12th graders often do a mini project as well, and they're encouraged to participate either as part of their regular curriculum or sometimes as extra credit. And this all culminates with an annual presentation of learning we call Espresso Yourself, because we're punny. And it's a coffee house-like night of slam poetry where the learners get up on stage and present their poems to an audience, and there's coffee and hot chocolate and pastries. It's a really cool POL.
It is a really cool event. You know, you do get coffee, and it turns into this really sweet kind of jazz house feel as people are giving poets their snaps and things like that. It is a cool event. So what are some of the benefits that you're seeing from your kids? What are your kids getting out of this?
Well, they get to analyze and learn about poetry through a classic poem that they've actually chosen themselves that interests them. Part of the Get Lit curriculum is what they call the claiming. So there's one day in the project where we just sit in a circle and I read the first stanza of every poem or many of the poems that day, and the kids listen, and if they hear something that resonates with them that they identify with, they say mine, and that's how they claim their poems. So they've chosen their poems, and they get to learn about and analyze poetry through those poems that they've chosen. And then they're encouraged to find their voice and then to create art about something that's important to them. And they're given a platform if they wish to speak to large groups of people about the things that matter to them through slam poetry.
Very cool. So again, a way for you to tap into and help kids develop their passion. That is so amazing. So what's the process that you develop with your learners to take them from, in many cases, right, never having done something like this to then performing on stage in front of a large group of friends, classmates, family, and strangers in some cases?
Well, I think one of the first things that's really important is we talk a lot about trust and respect, and creating a safe space as a class for everyone to be able to express themselves without judgment. They're all in the same boat. They're all going to do it, so it's important for them to be respectful of each other. We learn about poetic forms and devices. They research their classic authors. They analyze their classic poems. And when we write the response poems, we really focus on giving each other constructive feedback and making revisions until each learner is happy with the poem they wrote. Then we work on memorizing and practice performing in class, in small groups. And we also make the POL voluntary. So this is not for every learner. I feel like every learner can really get some value in this. I really get a lot of joy in doing a journal assignment at the beginning. I always ask them, like, what do you think about poetry? Do you like poetry? Is it interesting to you? And I would say like a good 85% are like, no, I don't like poetry. I don't understand it. And then I show them a bunch of slam poetry videos from Get Lit and other organizations that do slam poetry. And some of it's really edgy and cool and interesting. And they generally, even if this is not going to be their thing, they generally find an appreciation for it. So that's the part I enjoy the most.
That is cool. And just for our listeners that aren't as familiar with project-based learning, a POL is a presentation of learning. Whenever our facilitators and their kids develop a project, it always culminates, it always finishes with a public presentation, not just with the poetry slam, but anything that our kids learn, they should be presenting publicly. And I know in some cases, like you said, Jodi, the learners will go through the project and not necessarily present on stage, but some of them do carry this through and not only present at the end of the project, but they go on to compete and they compete at school, they compete in regional activities. What's that competition like?
Okay, so learners that develop a passion for slam poetry, they can do a couple of things to further that. They can join, I have a Get Lit elective, and we also have a Get Lit slam team that competes each year in the classic slam. Normally, what the competition is like, it's separated into quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. And 50 teams compete over 2 days from all over California and sometimes even as far away as Boston. We usually compete in groups of five teams in one theater, and the top 2 teams in each theater will advance to the semifinals. And then the top 4 teams overall then go to the finals. Historically, the finals have been at the theater at the Ace Hotel. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's a really cool theater. It's beautiful. And there's usually cash prizes for winners. And it's a super exciting, it's just a super exciting night.
So that does sound really exciting, but I'm imagining, like everything else, things have shifted with social distancing. So is that going to be, I'm assuming that's going to be different this year, right?
It's going to be very different this year. I have to say that Get Lit has worked extremely hard to still honor the voices of the poets and all the hard work they've done this year and move the slam to an online virtual platform. So we will actually be having a virtual Get Lit Classic Slam quarterfinals and semifinals this Thursday and Friday.
That sounds great. Now, is there any truth to the rumor that every poem is required to start with, wait, I had to unmute myself? Anyways, so you've got kids participating. How many learners do you have participating in the competition this year?
So teams are usually between 4 and 6 members, and this year I have 5.
Okay, so 4 or 5. You have 4 or 5 teams?
No, I'm sorry. It's 4 to 6 learners per team.
Okay.
And so this year I have 5 learners on my team.
Okay, I see. So you've got one team of 5 learners. That is really cool. So I mentioned that our listeners can participate. Can they watch? I know it's going to be on Zoom. So are they able to join and watch the semifinals?
Yes, and not only can they watch. Get Lit has worked, like I said, extremely hard on to move this to an online platform, but they've also developed this score metrics app where viewers can actually be the extra judge and sort of give a community viewer score. So the way you can find the Classic Slam is to go to getlit.org/events, and then click on the Classic Slam, and then there's a click on Watch the Classic Slam Live. We will be competing in Theater 1 at 10 a.m. on Thursday. And I also believe that the links to our theater are going to be on all of our SCVi social media pages as well.
Okay, terrific. So check out SCVi on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. The links will be there, but that's getlit.org/events, and you'll be able to view the competition and even participate in the judging. Just to give our listeners a little bit of a taste of what that sounds like, Jodi sent in a clip of one of her learners. Now, is this, can you set this up for us, Jodi? Is this one of your learners practicing? Is this actually part of a competition that we're going to hear?
So one of the things that Get Lit did this year is, even though we'll be performing live on Zoom, they did ask us all to send in videos of our poems. Okay. So in case there was any sort of technological issue, that they could show the video instead of performing live. So this is Joanna Wong performing her classic and response poems.
Okay, so what you're going to hear is Joanna Wong perform her classic poem, her published piece, and then her original piece in response. So go ahead and roll that, Shane.
And then the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And my response is things I can't wait for. The things I can't wait for. Dinner tonight, watching a movie over the weekend, and the 2 hours of me time where I am free from the feelings of confinement and suffocation. I almost drowned when I was 8 years old. And now 8 years later, I'm drowning once more. Or maybe I'm choking. I'm the open-mouthed, glassy-eyed fish gasping for breath, this blade of self-deprecation ripping through my stomach, my guts laid before me. Soak me in vinegar, or rub me in salt, or serve me raw on top of the white, sticky grains of my impeccable grades and perfect personas. No. I'm the overburdened, heavy-hearted child dreading adulthood, clinging on to the fantasy of freedom, my failures in place of my guts as I count the what I could do betters, fighting for every breath in my lungs as my head slips below the water.
So powerful. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So what grade is Joanna in?
Joanna is an 11th grader.
Wow, so she's been honing this for about a year and a half now. That is amazing, and some of these poems are just so impressive. They'll bring tears to your eyes. They'll make you laugh hysterically. Mm-hmm. It's just so amazing what our young people are able to create. Jodi, this is a really cool project. Thank you for coming in and sharing both of these projects with us this morning. We really appreciate it, and good luck to your teams on Thursday.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me.
Of course. We do have to take our last commercial break, but please stay tuned. When we come back, Kristina de Bree, our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, will be joining us next. And for more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Marinated strips of steak grilled to perfection with onions, peppers, jack and cheddar cheese, ranchero sauce. Mouth-watering yet? I thought it would. I could keep going, but I won't tease you like that. I'll just tell you where to go. Cabo Cabana and Stevenson Ranch, where fresh is just the beginning. Delicious tacos, burritos, enchiladas, tostadas, Baja Authentic style Mexican food that you just won't be able to resist. What more could you ask for? Cabo Cabana on the old road in Stevenson Ranch.
Great healthcare just got easier and more convenient in Canyon Country. Facey Canyon Country is now open directly off the Soledad Canyon exit off the 14 freeway. The 37,000 square foot clinic houses Facey Medical Group primary care physicians, pediatricians, and specialists. Facey has easy 24/7 online appointment scheduling for PCPs and peds. For more information or to make an appointment, visit facey.com. That's FACEY.com.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Save water and save money. SCV Water wants to help you find your fit and take advantage of conservation rebate programs that will help you save. Water your landscape more efficiently. Replace your lawn with water-wise plants. Conduct free in-home water surveys. Cover your swimming pool and more. Find the programs that fit your needs and start saving today. Visit conserve.yourscvwater.com to learn more.
That's conserve.yourscvwater.com.
This is Suzette Martinez Valadares. Many child care centers are closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The child care providers that are open are serving our essential workforce and finding it very difficult to find or purchase the supplies needed to keep their facilities clean and children healthy. Our healthcare professionals are fighting to save lives. First responders and law enforcement are bravely serving our community. And our grocery store clerks are keeping our local markets stocked. This is our chance to help them. This is why we are launching Operation Childcare. Our mission is to collect donations for local early childhood education providers serving our frontline essential workforce. Donations needed include hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, disinfectant spray, disposable gloves, and masks. These donations can be dropped off at KHTS Radio, located at 24320 Main Street in Newhall, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
He broke records and piloted the F-18 Super Hornet in combat. Answering our nation's call, he served with honor. Then Mike Garcia returned home to his family, to a far worse California from where he grew up. Now, Garcia's next mission: cut taxes, clean up homelessness in our cities. With California on the brink, we need a fighter to answer the call once again. Mike Garcia for Congress.
I'm Mike Garcia, and I approve this message.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We're joined now by Kristina de Bree. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist with a remarkable story of resilience and determination. And if you're ever looking to be inspired, just pick up the phone and call Kristina and ask her to tell you her story. It is absolutely incredible, and she's parlayed that story into developing a tremendous level of expertise. She's a trauma and resilience specialist, which is such an important resource during and well after these times as well. Kristina is a graduate of Cal State Northridge and Pepperdine University who practices right here in Valencia. She's studied extensively things including trauma, phobias, attachment disorders, suicide prevention, grief, all different kinds of things that, well, are so important in our daily lives, but just seems magnified right now. She's got more than 18 years of speaking experience and works with medical professionals, patients, schools, and business professionals. Kristina, welcome back. Good to have you.
Yes, thank you.
So, Kristina, we're kind of walking through a progression this week. On Monday, you talked about how dangerous it can be to neglect our mental health care needs, and it's always dangerous, but as things continue to build and people get more and more anxious, more and more antsy as we stay home and things seem to drag on, it can become just compounded every day, and so it is dangerous. We need to get the mental health care that we need. We need to get it now. And then yesterday you taught us to determine our levels and figure out, do we really need help or am I just having a rough day? And among other things, you taught us a scale of 1 to 10 and to kind of bookend our best day as a 1, our worst day as a 10. And so what level are you kind of living? And I'm guessing all of us are somewhere above a 2 right now. But you said that living in that space of anywhere between a 4 and a 7 can be a warning zone where we need to really start reaching out, and we can't neglect that, like we said on Monday. it was interesting. We finished up our show yesterday. I was really excited and went and did a little bit of planning, and then hopped in the car, started heading home, and I noticed I had a text, Christina, from a friend of mine, and it was just the number 6. I'm thinking, why is this person texting me the number 6? And so I reached out. It was a number 6, and then with the big wide-eyed emoji. And so I texted her back in question. I said, what, 6 what? And she says, that's kind of where I've been living these last several weeks. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's at a level 6. She needs help, right? And so of course I'm encouraging her just the same way you did on the show. Reach out, call someone, call Christina. We'll have her contact information here in just a couple of minutes. But what she said is, okay, but so now what? What do I just pick up the phone and call a complete stranger and say, hey, I'm really bummed. I'm in a bad spot. Or, if it gets beyond that and how do you pick up the phone, Christina, and call a therapist, a complete stranger, at least right now, and start that conversation by saying, what do I do? Pick it up and say, hi, I'm Matt. I'm having dangerous thoughts. Or, what do I do? It's not that easy, right?
Right. So, one of the things that I want to talk about today is, first of all, what do you do if you're, a 6 or 7 and you're really you're really starting to hit your breaking point? So one of the things that can be a common experience is to have thoughts of wanting to die, or from there it can progress into thoughts of wanting to intentionally end our lives. And that's terrifying for so many different reasons. It's really a complex experience that comes with a lot of shame and fear and guilt. And it's something that we don't feel open to discussing. So one of the things that I like to do first is normalize the experience with people. So when someone reaches out to you first, so when your friend reaches out to you, even if you are not yourself experiencing that, your first thing first is that you're going to say is, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I'm really proud of you for allowing yourself to be vulnerable and to feel safe enough with me. And connect with them first, because healing begins with connection. And what can I do to support you? So with your friend, it's, hey, I know I need to reach out to a therapist, but I'm scared to do it. Okay, is this something that you'd be willing to let me help you with? And if they say yes, then you say, okay, well, let's look together. Do you know what kind of therapist you're looking for? Are you looking for a man, a woman, a younger therapist, an older therapist? Maybe they say, I don't know. Maybe you have personal referrals that you can give them. If they say no, then just, okay, I'm here for you. If you need to walk through anything, let's just take things one step at a time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Okay.
Well, I was going to say, so it can be kind of tough to walk the line. What if I feel that there's somebody that's living at about a 6? How insistent do I become? It's one thing if the person reaches out to me, right, like my friend, and says, hey, I'm living at a 6, and I say, all right, let's get you some help. Would you mind if I help you find someone? And they say, yeah, sure, that'd be great, thanks. But what if they don't reach out to me and I just notice you seem a little bit stressed lately? Can I help you talk to a therapist? That can be a little touchy, can it?
Yeah. So I think when people say things like, hey, you need to go talk to a therapist, that can be very shame-inducing.
Right.
And so saying like, hey, it seems like you're really in a lot of pain right now and you're really struggling. I'm wondering if there's some support that we can enlist here to help. I'm here for you, but also, I'm not a professional, and I'm not always sure what the right things are to say, so I'm happy to continue to be here as a friend. But if you feel like you need something more, I think this would be a good time to think about that.
Okay, so you can be supportive as a friend, and then if you are someone that does need support, you just call in and say, hey, I'd like to talk, and the therapist will kind of create that safe space, and so it is a comfortable place to have a conversation, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm going to be creating a free ebook on my website about how, I'm scared to tell a therapist that I'm suicidal, and how do I tell a therapist that I'm suicidal? And so if that's something that you're interested as a free resource, feel free to go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, and I will be sending out an announcement when I get that available.
Yeah, please keep us posted when it's available. Kristina's website is KristinaDeBree.com. We'll be posting that on the Facebook feed, but it's Kristina with a K, DEBREE.com, KristinaDeBree.com. And if you're struggling, just please reach out to your healthcare provider, or you can call Kristina directly. She offers a free 15-minute phone consultation. You can reach her at 661-513-4857, 661-513-4857. Kristina, as always, thank you so much for your help. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you all so much for joining us, and thank our guests, Kevin MacDonald, Executive Director at the SCV Senior Center, and Jodi Blinn, English Facilitator from SCVi, our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Kristina de Bree. Join us again tomorrow. We've got Mike Garcia, candidate for Congress, coming on tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So get your questions ready. Be ready to post as soon as that Facebook feed starts. So we will get those questions out to him. You're listening to SCVi Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson. This is your hometown station, KHTS.